Y'all, Chloe Bailey just sent out a loud, clear warning, and it's aimed straight at Beyoncé. Chloe is finally speaking out about what really went down behind the scenes, and from the way she's talking, this wasn't just a simple follow-up. She described it as a full-blown spiritual betrayal. Chloe made bold claims, accusing Beyoncé of trying to steal her essence, her light, her soul. And the wildest part is that she's hinting her own sister, Halle, has already given in. The streets are now dissecting every word, every symbol, and every move, and what they're finding is disturbing. Did Beyoncé really initiate Halle into something Chloe refused to be a part of? Was Chloe blackballed for saying no? And is this why their once perfect image as protégés is now crumbling right in front of us? Because the things Chloe is hinting at make the story way darker than anyone thought. This conversation, honestly, is long overdue. Fans have been side-eyeing Chloe Bailey's career trajectory for a while now, and the question keeps getting louder. Why isn't she popping the way she should be? Chloe has everything. The vocals, the visuals, the dance skills, the acting chops, the confidence, the look, and the stage presence that screams superstar. She even has Beyoncé backing her, something most artists would kill for. So what's the problem? Why is she still struggling to sell records and move tickets when other pop girls, some with barely a third of her talent, are effortlessly charting and headlining sold-out venues? It's not just about the industry being tough, either, because Chloe was set up with a full machine behind her. Yet despite all the push, the results haven't matched the hype. At some point, fans start to wonder if something deeper is going on: tension, mismanagement, or even sabotage. For someone with Chloe's blueprint, this level of flop doesn't feel random. According to Chloe, the reason her career hasn't taken off the way it should comes down to one name: Beyoncé. And if you listen closely, she's suggesting it's not just about music, politics, or mishandling. It's something far darker. Chloe recently went live and spilled just enough to get people talking, and the implications were wild. She talked about how Hollywood is a dark place and basically said it's almost impossible to truly make it unless you're willing to sell your soul. While she didn't name names directly, the way she positioned herself in contrast to what others are doing made the shade loud and clear. She even said she sees herself in the character Sammy from the movie Sinners, a character constantly torn between talent, faith, and the pressure to conform. Chloe admitted that the storyline hit too close to home, and fans immediately clocked it as a subtle dig at Beyoncé and the industry machine behind her. And if you take a closer listen to what she said, the subtext is screaming.
Okay, so I think anyone who... it just reminds you so much of the industry, right? And it's like, you could have a gift like he did with his guitar. And like they said, when he's singing, he's honoring his ancestors and uplifting and all of that, but then it also attracts the not good. So it's like, in order for him to be successful, the vampires were telling him he has to sell out so that he could be, so he could live forever and his music could live forever. And it's exactly like things that I see and go through every day. And that's why I just like broke down crying, because it was showing like the people who decided not to go to the other side, they were in there fighting for their lives. They were in there going through it. While the ones who did give in, they were outside celebrating and having a good time and got things quicker and things like that. So the reason why Sinners resonated with me so much is because it's something that you see every day. And no matter how hard you work, no matter how good of a person that you are, no matter how talented you are, sometimes that's not enough to get you places that you need to be. And that's why Sinners, like, I was crying right after, because I feel like anyone in the industry could really resonate with it.
Now, Chloe never actually said Beyoncé's name, but everybody knew exactly who she was pointing at. She didn't have to spell it out, because whenever people start talking about the industry being dark or twisted, there's always one name that comes up first, and that's Beyoncé. For years, there have been whispers about Beyoncé and Jay-Z, about how they allegedly made certain sacrifices to get to the top. You can call it a conspiracy or call it a fact, but their names are always front and center. When people bring up the Illuminati or the entertainment elite doing questionable things behind the scenes, Beyoncé's name is usually the first on their lips. So when Chloe went live talking about refusing to sell her soul, she didn't need to drop names. People connected the dots in seconds. Honestly, Chloe's claims finally explain what many fans have been saying about her career and the way Beyoncé seems to be mismanaging her. When Chloe and Halle first signed to Parkwood, everybody thought it was a great move. But now, people are starting to question if that decision actually helped them or held them back. While Beyoncé is undeniably a legend, she's also juggling a billion things at once: world tours, sacred performances, motherhood, and running her own empire. So it's not crazy to think her artists might be slipping through the cracks. And Chloe is starting to look like the latest example. Her debut album didn't land the way people expected, and her second album performed even worse. It didn't even chart on Billboard. Considering how much pull Chloe has on social media, the math just wasn't mapping. At this point, it's starting to feel like she might be stuck in the same cycle we've already seen with other Parkwood artists. Apart from Chloe and Halle, who mainly stayed afloat through their own hustle, Beyoncé's track record when it comes to managing talent hasn't exactly been impressive. Now that Chloe is flopping, fans are starting to question if she's being sidelined like other Parkwood artists such as Sophie Beam and Ingrid Burley. Sophie signed with a lot of hype, but instead of letting her release music, Parkwood claimed she wasn't ready and kept her in a 2-year development deal. When that ended, they dropped her, leaving her with nothing to show for it. Ingrid actually recorded an album, but Parkwood shelved it until her contract expired. So now, people are side-eyeing Chloe's situation, wondering if she's being set up for the same fate simply because she refused to play by the rules. When you zoom out and look at Parkwood, only 2 acts have truly thrived under the label: Beyoncé and the Carters. And since the Carters are literally just Beyoncé and her husband, that technically means the only artist Beyoncé has ever fully pushed to stardom is herself. That's why so many fans feel like something isn't adding up with Chloe. In fact, there's been long-standing talk that Beyoncé might actually be sabotaging her. Take this for example. Right before Chloe dropped her debut album, she went on Twitter and asked fans to vote on which single she should release, Surprise or For the Night. The results clearly showed that fans wanted For the Night. But then Chloe did a complete 180 and dropped Surprise instead. Fans were upset, and in a live session that I'm about to show you, Chloe revealed that Beyoncé forced her to release Surprise, even though it wasn't what her fans wanted.
Y'all, the polls. I know what y'all picked about the polls. But when the queen speaks, and that's all I'm gonna say, and that's all that matters to me.
At this point, fans are convinced that Beyoncé has been playing in Chloe's face for a long time, all because Chloe refused to play the game and sell her soul. Word started to spread, and now people are connecting the dots in ways that raise even more eyebrows, because suddenly Halle's name is being brought into the conversation too, but not in a good way. Many fans believe Halle might have taken the opposite route and actually did what Chloe wouldn't. According to online speculation, Halle was allegedly willing to play ball, and people say that's what caused the quiet split between the sisters. Not just a casual solo career move, but a deeper divide based on what each of them was willing to do in order to move forward in the industry. And here's where things get even more suspicious. Since going solo, Halle's career has skyrocketed. She landed big movies, walked major red carpets, had her breakthrough role in The Little Mermaid, and even earned a solo Grammy nomination. She's constantly booked and busy. As of now, she's off filming in Italy, living the good life with her son. Meanwhile, Chloe's story looks completely different. Despite all her talent, her rollout has been bumpy. The album didn't land, the singles underperformed, and fans are noticing the pattern. She's putting in the work, but the industry just isn't giving back. It's a hot mess, and honestly, it's a wonder Chloe stayed silent for this long. At this point, it feels less like bad luck and more like a pattern. Chloe's got the talent, the look, the drive, but somehow, things just aren't clicking. And now that she's quietly speaking out, it's clear she knows exactly why. Meanwhile, Halle's career is on fire, booked, praised, and protected, and fans are beginning to wonder if it's because she made choices Chloe refused to make. Maybe that's why their bond doesn't feel the same anymore. Maybe that's why Chloe always looks like she's fighting to be seen, while Halle is handed the spotlight. But whatever went down behind the scenes, one thing is for sure and two things are certain. Chloe's not playing that game. And in this industry, that alone can cost you everything. This drama is far from over, because Chloe seems determined to take back her power and control her narrative.